Well, hello there, everybody. Easy for me to say. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley with you at 1 o'clock here as we continue to check in on our winter storm. It's been with us now for about 12 hours. For the earliest of folks in our area, that snow started to fly right there around 1 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Now here we are early on your Saturday morning, and it's just about getting ready to wind down. Even still, yeah, we have our News 2 weather impact alert through the rest of the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. Why? Well, it's still doing this. We have this wintry mix, mostly of sleet and snow. At this point, it's kind of been going back and forth for the better part of the last 6 hours or so. We had a little sleet mixing in starting at about 7 to 8 o'clock. That's that iciness that works its way into the snow, and it can really kill your accumulation. The nice thing, if you're trying to get a little bit more snow, is we have switched back. The roads are pretty bad. You know, we've been talking to a lot of people across the area. Our reporters have been out there, and just hearing from them, it sounds like it's not anything you want any part of unless you have to be out. So please consider that as we go into tomorrow morning. This is the view, not something we have been able to see over the last couple of years all that often, but very wintry scenes and not done yet. As I said, there have been a couple more snow showers, even at this late hour between 12 and 1. And if you look carefully, there are a couple of roads here. We'll take a closer view in just a second to see what those conditions are kind of looking like a little bit. A sampling of totals. This is far from an exhaustive list, but it's just an idea of, who has seen what, which areas did very well, which other areas struggled a little bit to accumulate that snowfall. We all love to obsess over the totals. Mayodan up in Rockingham County picked up about 4 inches, around 3.5 just across the border in Stokes. Toast and Mount Airy up there in Surrey County, about 4.5 to 5 inches. These are the big winners of the day. Up that way, they got about 4 to 6 inches right there near the Virginia border in Surrey County. So a good amount of snow over there. Wilkesboro had about 3. Yadkin County had about 3 in some spots too. So did Stokes, as I mentioned. Rockingham, anywhere from about 2 to 4. They hit that pretty well. It was a little bit of a struggle though, from Winston-Salem to Greensboro, Thomasville, Randleman. High Point could be grouped into there, Burlington too. Mostly in the 1 inch to 2 inch range overall. And if you went farther south, it was just a struggle beyond belief, especially as you go down toward Asheboro. It's just been really tough to get snowfall there over the last decade, it seems. Did want to pass this stat along though. At the airport, they have 1.3 inches of accumulating snow for today's date. And we'll continue to see how much they got any more, if they get any more. But look here, 1,077 days, the last time we had an inch of snow at PTI Airport. That was back in 2022. You might remember it. Maybe not, though. That month was ironic. We had about 4 different small snow events where none of them had big blockbuster totals, but they all had some that kind of added up to about 8 inches for the month back in 2022. Temperature's been really cold. That's been a problem for parts of the state for freezing rain. We've been lucky enough to mostly just see either snow or some sleet. There has been some freezing rain in parts of the area, but right now it looks like we've really switched back over to predominantly snow. You can kind of tell just by the texture of this image. You see how it's really hazy and fuzzy in the distance. It almost looks like a still image, right? But if you look carefully, there are blinking lights here as well. This is Salem Parkway in the foreground. I'm not noticing hardly a car anywhere in sight. Looks like there's 1 or 2 coming along. Maybe that's a plow. It has some flashing lights on it. We hope so, because those roads are going to need a lot of help to get cleaned up. Step 1 in getting the cleanup process going is to get the stuff to stop falling from the sky. And we're about to do that over the next couple of hours. In Greensboro, similar situation, the visibility very good, so the snow would be just very light at this time. Same idea here in High Point. This is Main Street. And you'll see this side of the road looks like it's been cleared at least partially. You'll see some of that slickness, but over here it's totally snow covered. So it really just depends. And to be honest with you, on nights like this, sometimes it's better to drive on the snow covered street than it is to have that one that's been partially slipped up a little bit. We'll hope that sunshine helps us a little bit more for tomorrow. Burlington, you can tell not as much snow did fall over there, but there's some on the ground. And yeah, things are starting slowly to clear up a little bit. This is going to be the tail end of this weather system. Atlanta, they had snow earlier today. Definitely was more than they've seen in quite a while. Tennessee mopped up with the system as well. South Carolina got a little bit here and there. Charlotte kind of, got the short end of the stick, you could say. That sleet has really won the day in Charlotte. We got a nice amount of snowfall early in the last half of the afternoon, made for a terrible evening commute. We've been kind of ringing that bell throughout the week that you did not want to be a part of that evening commute, and it did turn out to be a bad one across our area. This, though, the live radar between about 10 o'clock and 1 in the morning, you see the dry air working its way into the foothills now. We're seeing the last of these snow showers likely across the Piedmont Triad. In fact, I want to take a little bit of a closer look at that. We'll get to the ice map in just a second, but let's take a sneak peek here at some of the local radar now across our Triad area. And most of this is falling as snow, but if you look a little bit closely, some of these are heavier bands. Remember when we just looked at the Winston-Salem camera? That is a decent snow band, and that's just about now to pivot. It went through High Point. It's going to pivot up into Greensboro following up. Looks like it's dry at this time in Lexington, Moxville, Yadkinville as well, but there is a little bit more snow on the way. The good news is what I'm seeing right now. It doesn't look like we'll have any additional freezing rain, and that's good because there was a little bit of a panic a couple of hours ago where it looked like freezing rain was starting and it might not stop. At this point, I think we can say safely that we're pretty okay in that regard. Now, the snow and sleet totals, again, we've adjusted this a lot over the last couple of days. The 3 to 5 zone that we worked out here by the Virginia border to the foothills, that ended up being quite nice. That's where they got mostly the biggest snow. Now across the Triad, that 2 to 4 zone really did end up being a little bit too high. Most places hit that 1 to 2 inch range instead, and farther south was a bit of a struggle to get even 1 inch at times in spots. Let's take a look at our latest computer model. It does have the back edge of the precipitation, maybe about 1 to 2 hours behind, but even still, it's clearing us out by about 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning with some drier air and drier skies kind of building in as we go there. Now tomorrow the sun is coming out. There's no doubt about that. We're going to get clearer weather, and that should be pretty nice for us to see. And you can see high pressure start to build into the area a little bit as we work our way into the rest of the weekend. So it'll be dry, it'll be cold, it'll be sunny as well. That's kind of how we work our Saturday and Sunday. And that sunshine, it's going to be really important. Consider temperatures are only in the 30s during the day here, so we're not very warm. What do we need to do? We need to melt some of that stuff off of the roadways. Sunshine can help that, but you also really would like to have some warmer air, and we aren't going to be able to find that. Not only are the daytimes not terribly warm, but the night times are likely to be bitterly cold. Let's take a look at this. The normal low is 30. We have overnight lows in the teens and 20s. So think about Saturday. The sun will come out around 9 or so in the morning. Well, what about the daytime? Yeah, it'll melt a little bit, but overnight you're going to go right back down to 20. So if you don't get that snow up off the driveway, off of the sidewalk, you're really going to have trouble getting rid of it as we go farther along into the forecast here. Because as you can see, there's no magical warm up heading our way. We are going to be stuck with a lot of this cold weather for a really long time, and that might actually make it pretty difficult to clear up some of those side roads, the neighborhood streets that don't ever get plowed. They could have some trouble with that iciness for a long while. One more look at the radar before we let you go as we look across the region. You can see this overall system is just kind of pulling away. Virginia is getting some good snow out of it right now, as is parts of North Carolina, if our radar is telling the truth here, where it's raining and sleeting and snowing at this time. Again, back edge of this is starting to work its way into Yadkin County, Davie, and Forsyth. There's a little bit more, maybe about 2 hours longer of snow potential that hopefully you can clean up on this and be satisfied if you're a snow lover. But like you said, a pretty good snow band is just about to move into Greensboro. We'll be watching that on our live camera and seeing how it looks in downtown. Over in the foothills, you're good and happy, hopefully, with your 3 to 5 inches from North Wilkesboro to Mount Airy. Things are winding down for you. And one more time, we'll take a look at that futurecast. It does have pretty much everything clearing out by around 3 to 4 o'clock or so through the morning. So, messages for you going through the rest of the forecast. We'd like you to use caution. If you have to be out and about, make sure you're kind of giving your space, making it go slow as well. And you really just want to make sure that you're not getting in anybody's way. Only go out if you have to. And if you are, just be smart about it. These roads are going to be tough, especially on the side streets for a good while as winter continues. It's been a doozy of a January as far as cold weather goes, and we still have more than half the month to go. We'll see what's yet to come as we work our way through the next couple of weeks.